Well, the number 10 car, Casey Kane, behind the wheel of that car. The car has been great all weekend. They have been working on some things. Right now, Casey Kane just saying that it's a little bit sluggish on the restarts. Said he may have a car problem on those restarts, telling his crew chief, Stuart Cooper, that. But great car for Casey Kane. Great run so far. This is his last race for Braun Racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Now, the 11 car of Mike Bliss, we've told you all day, he is in the hunt right now for that top 5 position. Currently about 20 points, a little over 20 points separate him from that 5th place position. He is in 6th. Mike Bliss, a lot assume that he will be in this 11 car next season in 2010, but he told me today that this car is still looking for a sponsor, and he is still looking for a ride full time, just making it work race to race. Dave?
Matt Kenseth looking to the high side. They're getting lots of pressure from behind right now in that 16 car. And this morning I asked Eddie Pardue, what's the best thing about racing with Matt Kenseth? He said, very determined, never gives up. That's going to be a good thing today, because during that first run, as we now see Keselowski getting underneath for the pass, that car was very, very tight for Matt Kenseth, and they didn't fix it much on that first stop. So Matt, patient now, has to be patient as Keselowski goes by. Shannon.
Brad Keselowski's future starts this weekend. He has taken over the number 12 car on the Cup side in Penske Racing, but he is still very focused on this nationwide team. Said this week that he feels that they still have a lot more wins in them. I asked Pops Yuri Sr. today how many races he thinks that he can win. He said, I have a feeling we could win at every single track on the rest of the season, and that is 3 races. The car's been good for the 88 car. No changes so far. Vince.
Casey Mears is subbing for Jeff Burton in the 29 car today. Mears' first nationwide race since Homestead back in '07. He's having a good run today, running in the top 10 all afternoon. And it's interesting because his crew chief on the Cup side, Doug Randolph, you see them there on the right-hand side of the screen. He's listening to the radio today of his former team, the 29 on the nationwide, trying to get a feel for Casey and his radio communication. These two haven't worked together before, and they're going to be working together here forward. JB?
And Jason Leffler in the 38 behind him sits 4th in points right now. I talked to his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, this morning. He said, you know, we're pretty much locked in. We can't gain a position, can't lose a position. So we're testing. We're trying different things. And this car, totally different car, different front-end geometry. The pressure's off, and they're having fun. One of the best cars they've had all year. Just right now, we can't arc it to get it to the bottom. Look for bigger adjustments next stop. Vince?
Joey Logano's running the 20 car, currently 9th. He's got a new crew chief this week as well, and that's Doug Hewitt. Hewitt taking over for Dave Rogers, who has gone over to the Cup side to be Kyle Busch's crew chief. A lot of musical chairs for Hewitt. It's been a while since he's been on the box. He says he's trying to get a feel for the job again this week, but he's got a great team to work with, good cars, good people, and he's gotten a lot of help from Jason Ratcliffe, who's Kyle Busch's crew chief on the nationwide side. Shannon?
Well, Vince, what a season it has been for David Reagan, who's currently running 11th. Started this race 2nd today. He's had a career-high top 5 finishes, and of course, he's been to victory lane 2 times this season, working with Dan Stillman, a new crew chief, Carl Edwards' former crew chief, for the first time this weekend. And so far, things have been very smooth for this team. They made a few adjustments on that first pit stop. It was a track bar and air pressure, but other than that, the 6th car has been pretty good. Now, Brian Vickers, on the other hand, he started this race struggling with this car. They actually decided to come down and pit a second time on lap 61 because they needed more adjustments. The car was just too loose. I spoke with Trent Owens, and he said, listen, we didn't lose that much track position, and it was very important to get this car right, and it has worked. Brian Vickers says the car is a lot better right now. He just needs track position.
2 cars back, you've got Brendan Gaughan racing for that Rookie of the Year. Just a little bit too tight up off the corner for him right now. He told me this morning that, you know what, I'm going for that Rookie of the Year title, but I'm going to have to win, because at the end of the year, it's subjective. We have to go to a board, and they have to evaluate. And with my 162 starts in the Truck Series with 8 wins there and about 33 Cup starts, they're going to need to see me to win if I'm going to win Rookie of the Year in the Nationwide Series. Further back, Carl Edwards, who's won a championship in this series, his car is still, at this point, radioing in that it needs to be a little bit better into the corner. It's still just a little bit tight. Mike Kelly, his crew chief, told me this morning they spent some time over the last week or so texting and talking on the phone, trying to get a feel for what Carl's range was when he talks 1 through 10, his scale. And right now, he says just a little. That's not a number, but I think Mike can understand what he means. A little tight. Vince?
You see Carl Edwards there, and it's a good second place battle up toward the front, and the pass is made as Carl makes the move. Edwards working with a new crew chief this week. Of course, they made the switch between the 60 and the 60 this weekend. And there's the 12 of Justin Allgaier. He's working with the same crew chief, and he's happy about that. Chad Walter is his man, and Justin Allgaier came into this race 5th in points, leading the way in the Rookie of the Year, but just came over the radio. He's got his hands full and says, I know it's supposed to come around, but boy, is it a handful right now. Loose race car for the 12 of Justin Allgaier.
So that's the 14 that are on the lead lap. A total of 10 cars are out of this race so far. And as you can tell, Kyle Busch is still the man up front by 4.2 seconds over Casey Kane. Kevin Harvick is in third as we approach halfway.